Today's story is about a South Korean psycho thriller movie released in 2013. It's about a psychopathic killer who lives an ordinary life like any other person. But one after another, he commits brutal murders. Not only that, he boils the bones of his victims to make dolls. When this killer snatches a daughter away from her mother, you will see just how terrifying an ordinary mother can become. To take revenge, how far can she go down a dark path? That's what we'll find out in today's story. At the beginning of the story, we see a small family in South Korea. The 13-year-old girl's name is Ha Young. Her mother is Yoon-ah and her father is Seong-il. Yoon-ah is a domino artist at a TV channel. Today, Yoon-ah is making her best domino at the office, so her husband Seong-il and daughter Ha Young have come to encourage her. The three of them are a small, happy family living their lives with great joy. But their happiness won't last long. On the other hand, we see a stranger walking down a dark road at night. This man meets a girl named Chae Young. Besides studying, Chae Young secretly works as a call girl. The stranger has come to her for her services. Before going home, the man takes her to a supermarket. Chae Young asks the salesman for 2 packs of cigarettes. She doesn't look old enough, so the salesman asks, "How old are you?" Chae Young points to the man and says, "Not for me, for my uncle." At that moment, Ha Young is there shopping with her mother. She is shocked to see Chae Young in this state, and Chae Young notices her too. So Chae Young threatens Ha Young not to tell anyone about this. Actually, they used to take piano classes together, so Chae Young forbids Ha Young from telling anyone about her. After that, Ha Young sees Chae Young leave with the man. Chae Young goes to the man's house with him. At night, the man uses a fake account named Mini Peace on an app to text other call girls. He asks them weird questions about their age, height, and other details. Seeing these strange questions, the girls leave the chat, and then we see a horrifying scene. The man approaches Chang, who has been tied naked to a table and is looking at some drawings where he has marked all the measurements. Then, using a measuring tape, the man measures Chang's leg, and based on that measurement, he takes out a saw and begins to cut off his leg. The pain brings Chang back to consciousness, and he starts screaming. And the man then says, "Don't worry, you will be reborn." And with that, he grabs Chang by the throat and starts to strangle him. As he is killing him, he says, "A girl looks most beautiful at that moment." As he writhes in the agony of death, it's very clear from this scene just how much of a psychopath this man is. The next day, we see that today is Guy Rong's 14th birthday, so Yuna takes her daughter out to buy some things for the birthday. Guy Rong asks to buy a cake there, but Yuna doesn't buy her the cake, because those things are very unhealthy. As they leave, Guy Rong spots Chang's uncle, that is, she sees the same psycho killer. Approaching the killer, she says, "You're Chang's uncle, right? I saw you with her yesterday. Please tell her that I haven't told anyone about her." The killer realizes that this girl could get him into trouble. So he tells Guy Rong, "Chang is at home. If you want, I can take you to her. I'll even drop you back at your house." But just then, Yuna calls her and Guy Rong leaves. Yuna wants to know who she was talking to. Guy Rong says she was with Chang's uncle. At that moment, Giona turns around and says hello to the killer. That night, the three of them celebrate a birthday together. After cutting the cake, Guy Rong asks for her birthday present. Then Yoona and Songul give her a phone as a very special gift. Seeing this, their daughter is overjoyed. When Songul goes outside to smoke, he notices that Guy Rong has written "Don't smoke, Dad" on the lighter. After seeing this, Songul is very happy. At that moment, he sees Yoona smoking and gets angry. Songul comes inside to calm Yoona down, but Yoona doesn't say a word and goes straight to the washroom. After a while, when Yoona comes out after showering, she doesn't see Songil in the room. As she's drinking juice from the fridge, suddenly a masked person is standing behind her. Yoona turns around and is terrified, falling to the floor, where she sees Songil lying there covered in blood. This masked person is none other than the psycho killer. The killer then hits Yoona with a bat. Yoona becomes senseless. After a while, Yoona is brought to the hospital in a bloodied state. The nurse informs the doctor that this patient's blood group is O negative. The doctor starts thinking for a moment and says that this blood group is very rare and tells them to inform her family. The nurse says that she has no surviving family members. Besides, she was an orphan. At that moment, a flashback is shown. The doctor's daughter Yeonji is gravely ill. To cure Yeonji, an organ with an O negative blood group is needed. Finding a way to save his daughter, the doctor goes to speak with another doctor at the hospital. He tells that doctor, there is no other way. In fact, this doctor wanted to transplant Yuna's organ into his daughter's body. But the other doctor says that if they wait a little longer, they might find a new donor. However, the doctor did not want to let this opportunity slip away. So, he informs the journalists at the press conference. Yuna has become brain dead. That doctor then leaves the conference quietly without saying anything. The police also announced that they are doing their best to solve the case. The killer was present there, disguised as a journalist, and upon hearing the news of Yuna's death, the killer leaves the place happily. The doctor comes to Yuna and says to her, I know you can hear me, but I have no other choice. You are about to give my daughter a second chance at 1 o'clock. Saying, I am truly sorry for you, the doctor tries to give Yuna an injection, but just then Yuna grabs the doctor's hand. Seeing Yuna respond, the doctor becomes extremely frightened. After that, 2 years pass. Since that injury, Yuna has become paralyzed and now moves around with the help of a wheelchair. She is cared for by someone named Hiji, and Eugene, a social worker, comes to celebrate Yuna Ga-young's birthday. While out shopping, Yuna suddenly spots that killer. She approaches the killer in her wheelchair, intending to attack, but as she goes to stab him with a knife, she realizes that the man is not actually the killer. Because of this, Yuna is taken to the police station. The police tell her, you can't just go around attacking anyone with a knife all the time. We're trying to find the killer. Yuna then asks about Chiang. But as always, the police repeat the same thing. That night, after returning home, Yuna posts an ad for a Zippo brand lighter on an app, the same kind her husband used. She has been doing this for the last 2 years. The reason is, on that day, after the killer murdered her daughter and husband, he lit a cigarette with that lighter and took it with him. He believes that with the help of this lighter, he will be able to find the killer. That's why he keeps advertising this lighter. And for the past 2 years, he has been buying these kinds of lighters from people one after another. In this way, after searching and searching, when he becomes frustrated at night, he remembers Yoona Seong-gil. Just then, someone texts him saying that they have a lighter of the same brand. Yuna asks if there are any scratches on the lighter. The person says that there is an engraving on the lighter. Yuna wants to know what the engraving says. The person then reveals that the lighter is inscribed with the words, "Dad, don't smoke." Yuna becomes excited. She immediately asks the person to send a picture of the engraving. This makes the person annoyed and they leave the chat. Yuna realizes that she has acted very foolishly. Nevertheless, she notes down the IP address from which she received the text. After that, Yuna contacts 2 dealers to buy a gun. She gives them the money and takes the gun, but when the 2 dealers realize that Yuna can't move around, they come back, throw her out of her wheelchair, and take the gun back from her. That day, Yuna sees that her wheelchair is broken. She decorates a cake to celebrate her brother's birthday. However, Yuna is deeply devastated. She says, my daughter only wanted to eat that one cake with me and I didn't even buy her that cake. Tell me, by what right am I still alive? At that moment, she tells Yuna, I have breast cancer. I only have 3 months left. I didn't want to die suffering in the hospital. I wanted to serve people, but now with you, there's still a lot of time. Don't hurt yourself. Because of the cancer, I won't be able to donate my organs. There are so many people who need organs, and compared to them, you're much better off than I am. At least you have a healthy body. At that moment, an idea comes to Yuna's mind. She realizes that with her paralyzed leg, she can never set an example for the killer. She can't punish the killer on her own. She needs help from some people for this. That's why the next day, Yuna meets with the doctor who had once tried to kill her for her organs. Yuna tells the doctor, I want a list of people whose blood group matches mine and who need organs. The doctor replies, what you're trying to do is illegal. Wasn't what you tried to do to me illegal? I will donate my kidney, cornea, liver, everything. In this plan, I will include 5 people along with myself. First, someone who can always keep track of the killer. Second, someone who is a hacker or programmer who can easily hack data. And the third person will be the one who catches the killer and brings them to me. He must know martial arts. And finally, the person must be a doctor because he will perform the organ transfer for us. So, the doctor asks, what will I get for all this? Someone replies, you will get life for your daughter. The doctor agrees to help Yuna in order to save his own daughter. The doctor says that although these three people are not exactly what Yuna wanted, they are very close. Among them was a man named Namche, a self-taught engineer who had lost one of his eyes and needed a cornea. When Yuna tells him about her plan, Namche tears up Yuna's contract because he thought it was all a scam. After that, Yuna meets a girl named Park. Park is a North Korean defector who works at a private detective agency. Her mother has a failed kidney and she has been searching for an organ for quite some time, but according to Yuna's plan, and she doesn't want to do that because she wants her mother's treatment to be done legally. That's why she refuses to take the organ. Meanwhile, the third person was Daehyu, a former gangster. His wife's liver has failed, so she needs a liver transplant. But after hearing Yuna's proposal, he instead scolds Yuna harshly. In this way, none of the three agree to Yuna's proposal. That's why Yuna calls the doctor for help. The doctor meets each of them separately in his office and tries to convince them individually, telling them that Yuna is not donating her organ for money, and she needs their help. They only have to do one thing. In exchange for doing that, they will receive the organ from her. All of them agree to Yuna's conditions and decide to help her. After that, Yuna asks Park to find the IP location, so Park goes to his boss to ask for help in tracking down the location. However, his boss then demands to sleep with him in exchange. Park, desperate to save his mother, agrees to this indecent proposal. After finding the location, Park informs Yuna. Then Yuna gives the address to Namshing and tells him to go to that house. Namshing arrives at the house address at night. In that house, he finds many items used by women. There, he discovers a Zippo lighter. In fact, Yuna sent him there specifically to find this lighter. After getting the lighter, Yuna realizes very clearly that this is the killer's house. So she sends Dae to catch the killer. When the killer opens the gate of the house, Dae arrives there. But as soon as the killer sees him, he starts to run away. Dae chases after him, and in this way, he manages to catch him. Dae brings the supposed killer to Yuna, but when Yuna arrives, she realizes that this is not actually the killer. Yuro asks him where he got this lighter from. The man then explains that he is a cab driver. Someone had left this lighter in his car and left. Yuna then asks him who left this lighter in his car. The man says that the person who left the lighter behind seemed a bit unusual. He was heavily made up, and that person got off at the car parking area of Apple Coffee restaurant. Yuna, feeling disappointed, calls the others and tells them that this is not the person she has been searching for all this time. And until she finds that real person, she will not donate her organ. This makes everyone angry with her. Then Yuna calls Park again and asks him to get the CCTV footage from Apple Coffee. But Park gets annoyed by this. He says, "You told me I only had to do one thing and I did that." Yuna insists, "You have to do it." Park becomes very irritated by this. However, he tells Yuna to meet him tomorrow. On the other hand, the husband meets the doctor separately and tells him that his wife could die at any moment, so her surgery is extremely important. The doctor understands this because he himself has not yet been able to cure his own daughter. So he gives the husband a 1 o'clock injection. In reality, the two of them have conspired to make Yuna brain dead so they can harvest her organs. That's why the husband comes to Yuna's house to kill her. However, he finds Hyejin sitting and eating with Yuna. Seeing Hyejin, the husband wants to leave immediately because at this moment it's not possible to execute his plan. But Hyejin insists that he stay and eat. After she leaves, the husband takes out the injection to kill Yuna. However, just then the taxi driver arrives. He has actually come to take Yuna to the park, and that's why the husband's plan couldn't succeed today no matter what. Then, when Yuna arrives at the park's location, she sees that Park is with some organ dealers. Yuna realizes that Park has betrayed her. In fact, Park had borrowed a lot of money from these dealers for his mother's treatment, so he brought Yuna to them to pay off the loan because they only needed one of her kidneys. The dealers would sell the rest of the organs as needed. Yuna tells Park, "You're doing all this?" Park replies, "My mother is dying, and instead of keeping your promise, you're making me do this." But at that moment, the dealer betrays Park as well. He calls another dealer to sell Park's organs too. Just then, Dae arrives at the scene. Dae had followed Yuna there to kill her, and once there, he beats up the dealer and everyone else present. After that, he takes Park and Yuna to the doctor. The doctor asks who else is involved in this plan. At that moment, Yu says nothing, which means all of you had a different plan in mind at the hospital. Then Una takes out a cyanide tablet and says, "If I take this, all my organs will be destroyed. Your dreams will never come true. I never involved you altogether because I wanted what's best for you." Yuna brings these 4 people to her old house. Then she describes to them that terrifying night, how the killer brutally murdered her husband and then strangled her daughter Gayung right before her eyes. She herself was also on the verge of death. But to this day, she has only one purpose for staying alive: to find that killer and bring them to justice. Hearing her story, they all realize their mistake. The 4 of them decide that no matter what, they will help Yuna find the killer. They are determined to bring the killer to justice and ensure they receive the harshest punishment. They even set up a table. Meanwhile, Pakapel gives Yuna the CCTV footage from the coffee shop, and in that footage, Yuna spots the killer. On the other hand, we see that the killer has now brought another call girl to his house. The girl starts to get scared when she sees some sharp weapons inside the house, and that's why she tries to escape. But the killer catches her. He kills the girl, removes her skin along with her hair, and keeps them with him. Meanwhile, Yuna starts calling all the customers from the CCTV footage of that day at Appel Coffee Restaurant. To find the killer's address, she calls every number to ask if anyone has lost a lighter. But after calling like this, when she finally calls one number, the killer answers the phone. Yuna recognizes the killer's voice from the other end, but she doesn't say anything. The killer then hangs up. After that, the psycho starts his work. This psycho is actually a professional artist. He kills girls and uses their bones to make dolls. He uses different parts of the girls' bodies to make the dolls. After that, Yuna comes with Namshin and they see the killer leaving his house. Then Yuna enters the killer's house, and inside she sees many dolls in a room. Underneath each doll, there is a girl's name written. The killer wrote the names of the girls he killed and turned into dolls on those dolls. Yuna sees a magazine on the table. She notices that the magazine reveals the killer's real name, whoever it may be. There, Yuna also finds her daughter Gayung's locket. Seeing the locket, she becomes emotional, but the locket is on top of the table. She couldn't take it. Just then, that psycho enters the room to take his wallet. As soon as he enters, he looks at the things on the table and realizes that someone had been inside. He's about to check when the doorbell rings. It's Namshin, and the paperboy starts bothering him a lot. Annoyed by this psycho, he leaves the house. Namshin helps Yuna to get out, but Namshin says that she wants to go back into the house to retrieve her daughter's locket. Yuna was wearing that same locket around her neck. It had made her a substitute organ. Namshin says it's not safe to go there now. If he dies, you can do whatever you want in his house. But Yuna says that's not possible. If he dies, I'll have to give him my organ. And for the last time, Yuna comes to see Heejun. The 2 of them have dinner together. Heejun then says, taking revenge is not a noble thing. Besides, if he has sinned, he will face consequences. When that happens, don't go. I've been living in hell for 2 years myself, and this locket around my neck, it has helped me survive in this hell a little bit. Saying this, Yuna gives the locket to Heejun and says, pray for me, because my prayers are of no use anymore. Yuna then sends that psycho a picture of Daehuk. That psycho attends a conference, where a journalist asks him what materials he uses to make dolls. The killer says he uses the trash of society. In other words, he was referring to call girls. That is, he kills call girls and turns them into dolls, believing that by doing so, he is cleaning up the environment. That psycho says, I use garbage to create something new. I am a creator. Then he talks about his dream project. He talks about Angel, which he will be launching very soon. Meanwhile, Namchin comes to the killer's house after seeing the locket on TV. However, the killer sees on his phone's CCTV footage that Namchin has entered his house, and he immediately rushes back. Upon returning home, he kills Namchin and ties him up. And he thinks Namchin is a thief because Namchin had bothered him in the morning. But when he checks Namchin's pocket, he finds the locket. Namchin says that he took it for his daughter. Then when the psycho sees his family photo with his son, he realizes that Namchin is lying to him. After that, he finds a note with a name in Namchin's pocket. The psycho finds the home address and realizes that Namchin didn't come here to steal. Someone sent him. He tortures Namchin severely and then kills him mercilessly. And then, when she checks Namchin's phone, she sees that he has spoken several times with someone named Yuna. She calls Yuna's number, and when Jonah answers the phone but hears no sound from the other side, she realizes that Namchin has been caught. That's why Yuna becomes anxious and panicked. Meanwhile, after waiting for a long time, Day finds out that Psycho had left the conference a while ago. On the other hand, Psycho remembers his crime from 2 years ago. So he goes to the hospital pretending to be a detective to look for Yuna and manages to get her address. But Yuna had used Heejin's home address at the hospital. So when Psycho arrives at Heejin's house, thinking Heejin is Yuna, Psycho notices the same locket on Heejin's neck that Gaeyong used to wear. He questions her, trying to find out more, but Heejin quickly realizes who this killer is. To protect Yuna, Heejin hides her own identity and says, "I am the unfortunate mother whose daughter you killed 2 years ago." At that moment, Yuna calls Heejin on the phone. She tells her not to go home because the psycho might come there to kill her. But unfortunately, the psycho is the one who answers the call, and when there's no sound from the other end, Yuna realizes that the psycho has already arrived. So taking Daehye with her, Yuna rushes to Heejin's house. But when they get there, they see that Heejin's house is on fire. The fire service brings her dead body outside. Yuna completely breaks down. Actually, before leaving, the psycho killer set fire to Heejin's house. Park is shaken by the deaths of Heejin and Namchin because he is involved with Yuna. Maybe the killer will kill him too. At that point, Yuna tells everyone. This killer is not an ordinary killer. He makes dolls out of human bones. I will face him alone. This fight is ours, not yours, Yuna says and leaves. Daehu's wife, the doctor's daughter Yeonji, and Park's mother all become seriously ill. Daehu tells Park, "We have to help Yuna, otherwise that psycho will kill her." Dr. Park and Daehu join forces again and move forward to help Yuna. Yuna goes to her daughter and husband's memorial. Just then, that psycho arrives and grabs Yuna from behind. Yuna is terrified as soon as she sees him. The psycho says, "I'm going to send you to your daughter and husband right now," and brings Yuna in front of the stairs. Just then, Daehu arrives and the psycho throws Yuna out of her wheelchair. At the same time, he himself jumps off the stairs with Daehu and grabs Yuna. And meanwhile, the psycho takes this opportunity to escape from there. Yuna tells Daehook to catch the killer no matter what, so Daehook goes after the killer. They have a long chase between them. Finally, Daehook manages to catch him. They fight again and Daehook injures him. After that, he calls Yuna to let her know that he's bringing the killer in and tells her to be ready. Yu puts him on the table that she and Namshin had made for him. Blood was dripping from Daehook's hand, and while she was bandaging it, the killer attacks her from behind. He ties up Daehook and starts torturing him. That psycho calls Yuna and says, "I'm torturing Daehook, come and save your friend." Giona is completely confused and doesn't know what to do. That's why instead of going to save Daehook, she goes straight to the psycho's house. There she destroys the dolls he made and sends him a video of it, watching his beloved dolls being destroyed. The psycho then leaves Daehook and rushes back to his own house. Meanwhile, a doctor arrives and rescues Daehook from there. On the other hand, when the psycho returns home and sees his dolls lying broken on the floor, he becomes furious. After killing so many girls over the years to make those dolls, now Yuna has destroyed them all in an instant. He comes to kill Yuna, but just then Park attacks him. As a result, the killer gets injured again. However, he grabs Park and starts hitting him repeatedly. To save Park, Giona starts breaking even more dolls, one after another, right in front of the psycho. This enrages the psycho and he throws Yuna out of her wheelchair. Yuna says, "A sinner like you won't even have a place in hell." Just then, the psycho comes to kill Yuna, but Dae arrives at that moment and fights him again. However, from the blows, he also becomes senseless. The psycho killer then approaches Yuna. Seeing him, Yuna starts laughing, which surprises the killer. At that moment, he notices that petrol is dripping from the biggest doll hanging in his house. That doll is his dream project, Angel. Just then, Yuna lights the lighter and throws it toward the angel. Instantly, the angel starts burning. Now the psycho gets even angrier. Looking at Yuna, he says, "I will never forgive you." Just then, a hot, sharp bone from the doll pierces the killer's back. In this way, the psycho dies instantly, and Yuna starts crying because she can't accept that the psycho died so easily. She keeps saying, "You can't die this easily. I've suffered a lot because of you. Look at me." After a while, a doctor arrives and says, "Now it's time to keep your promise." Saying this, he takes out a syringe. At that moment, Dehu says, "What are you doing?" The doctor replies, "That was the deal. After killing the killer, he would donate his organs." Dehu says, "You can't kill him like this," and tries to stop the doctor. The doctor then starts to struggle with Dehu. Park Yuna steps forward and says, "Please don't do this. I know you're in pain." But when your daughter Yeon finds out that someone had to die for her, will she be able to be happy? The doctor, angry, pushes Park aside. Then Yoon says, "I know what it feels like to lose a daughter. I was a mother too." Hearing this, the doctor becomes emotional and tries to inject Yoon, but no matter how hard he tries, he can't do it. He apologizes to her, but right then, Yoon takes the injection and injects herself with it. Seeing that, the doctor tries to remove the injection, but by then, it has already entered Yoon's body, and that's why Yoon dies. All three of them cry a lot for Yoon. At the end of the movie, it is shown that the doctor's daughter, Yeonji, is now alive thanks to Yoon's organ donation. The doctor and his daughter are now completely healthy, and seeing them well, Daehu's wife is overjoyed and living a normal life. On the other hand, Park's mother has also recovered. She is spending time with Park. Even after her death, Yoon has given life to these three people. It's as if, even in death, she remains within them. She lives on. And with that, this story comes to an end. So friends, that was today's story. Let me know how you liked it, and if you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, comment, and share. See you in the next story. Till then, keep loving. Bye.